Not every loss is a brutal loss, and not every win is a great win. Fortunately for the Broncos, this ugly win is still a W in the win column. Welcome in Broncos country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. I'm going to try and get through this with my very hoarse voice. As you know, I just got married over the weekend, and now a watch party for the Broncos. My voice is absolutely cooked. But the Broncos are 1-0. And this is why you hit subscribe. You sub for Broncos dubs all day, every day, 365 days a year. When the Broncos win, when the Broncos lose, we cover it. Join the Broncos Breakdown family today. Let's talk about it. And I got a lot to say. This might have been one of Bo Nix's worst performances as a Denver Bronco. I take no pleasure in saying that, but I have to call a spade a spade. He was awful. He looked flustered in the pocket. He looked like he was trying to make highlight throws. He was throwing off of his back foot. He would dirt balls way too quickly. It almost looked like a rookie Bo Nix. That's what it looked like. Granted, there were plays where the offensive line bailed on him, and he had to dirt a ball. There were plays where Bo Nix threw a ball and the receiver ran the wrong route. It happened a couple of times, one specifically to Lucas Krull. But all in all, the reason the Broncos win looked so ugly today was because Bo Nix did not play well at all. 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and a fumble. Only threw for 176 yards. And if not for a Courtland Sutton touchdown late in the first half, he would have been a complete F. And again, I take no pleasure in saying that. But from everything that we saw from a play calling perspective from Sean Payton, Bo Nix looked overwhelmed today. Now, we could call it what it is and say, look, he played awful, but I do believe there was a little bit of jitters. I do believe there were a little bit of times where Bo didn't look nearly as bad as you would have thought, but he almost threw 3 interceptions today. He had 2 of them. Bo Nix needs to be better, plain and simple. He needs to stop trying to be a highlight quarterback. At the times where Bo is at his best today is when he would 3-step drop, hit his back foot, and throw in rhythm on time. Not this rolling across his body, throwing a sidearm angle. You don't need to do that. You're not Patrick Mahomes. You're not Caleb Williams. Just sit back, take what the defense gives you, take the check down if you need to, and just play Broncos Bo Nix football. So let me ask you real quick. If you had to scale Bo Nix's performance today out of 1 to 10, 10 being he was amazing, and 1 being he was the worst I've ever seen him, I'd have to give him a 2 or a 3. I thought it was that bad. But despite that, the other players that we're going to talk about here in just a second contributed to the Broncos win. So let me know in the comment section down below what Bo's performance looked like. J.K. Dobbins will be the first one that we start with. I thought he had a really good game. Like I said, in the first half, the Denver Broncos offensive line did few and far between to get their running backs involved. But in the second half, they really stepped up, created holes, and J.K. Dobbins is so much more shiftier than I originally gave him credit for. There was one specific play, and it was on a first down gain of 12, I believe, where Dobbins kind of juked backwards and then ran up the gut and cut it back to gain 12 instead of maybe just powering his way forward to gain 3. His shiftiness is so much better than I originally thought. J.K. Dobbins played outstanding. R.J. Harvey, granted he didn't have nearly as many carries as Dobbins, had that 150-yard bomb type of play, which is why you drafted him. I wasn't expecting R.J. Harvey to go out and get 14 carries this game. I was expecting him to get between 6 and 9. And at 6 carries for 70 yards, averaging 11.7 on a 50-yard absolute bouncer where he showcased his speed, R.J. Harvey absolutely deserves credit. One more player I want to highlight, Courtland Sutton. And I think Courtland Sutton today kind of falls back a little bit into the shade only because Bo played so poorly. But there were a couple of plays, the touchdown and then one of the plays late in the fourth where Courtland Sutton caught a stick route from Bo, got hit, shook off the defender, and then powered his way forward for a first down. That's a veteran-type play. 6 receptions for 61 yards, an average of 10.2. I thought Courtland Sutton played very well. He might not have gotten a 10 out of 10, but you can absolutely give him a 7.5 or an 8. I thought he played outstanding given the circumstances of what the offense already gave you. Now let's talk about the real reason the Broncos won, the defense. And before I do that, I have to tell you today's episode is, of course, sponsored by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day. And Prize Picks, you can get paid for being right. It is so good to be right on Prize Picks. It's very simple to play. Pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. It is the best way to win cash all football season long. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the app. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. The defense is absolutely the reason the Broncos won today. It was as stout as we predicted. At times, they got gashed a little bit here and there against the run. These are the best football players in the world. It's going to happen. If you don't allow a single touchdown in an NFL football game, your defense played the best. And that's exactly what we saw from this Denver Broncos defense. Highlighted, I thought, by late in the fourth, after Marvin Mims fumbled a punt inside the 20-yard line. Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans offense on their next drive lost 25 yards because of the playmakers that I'm about to talk about. Let's start with Nick Bonitto, the most recent $106 million man who looked far better in the run-stopping game this week 1 than he did last year, week 1. He also notched a sack and 3 quarterback hits. He is going to live up to this contract extension that just happened. He is the best Falcons. He is the best Denver Broncos pass rusher, bar none, and it's not close. His partner in crime, his Robin, Jonathan Cooper, also had a really great game. Almost a safety, believe it or not. He and Nick Bonitto pinched those edges and made Cam Ward's life a living hell. And of course, Jonah Ellis, special shout out. Zack Allen, special shout out. Justin Stranad, special shout out. All 3 of those guys played great too. I also have to give one major tip of the cap to Jaquan McMillan, who was pretty quiet most of the day until that last play. Cam Ward drops back on 4th down. Jaquan McMillan, corner blitz from Vance Joseph, who we'll touch on at the very end of today's episode. And he makes the sack. Jahdae Barron, rookie out of Texas, scoops it up. Broncos W. So there was a lot of great things to take away from this Denver Broncos defense. In fact, I would give them an A. Offense, you don't want to know my grade. Probably a D. But this Broncos defense absolutely showed why they are the best in the NFL. And one final special shout out to Vance Joseph. We talked earlier this week about what the game plan was going to be from VJ against Cam Ward in his first game as an NFL quarterback. And it was blitz, 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 and then blitz some more. And VJ sent the house at Cam Ward, and it paid off. He looked flustered. He got flushed out of the pocket. His receivers didn't do him any favors. He had to throw away a bunch of balls off his back foot. He looked overwhelmed. But that's expected when you have the best defense in the National Football League. So next week against the Indianapolis Colts, you've got to step it up on offense. Defense, more of the same. Do what you do. So grade the Broncos' performance total against the Tennessee Titans. C. A for the defense. D for the offense. I feel like that equates to like a C or a C+. It wasn't great, but a win is a win regardless. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. I'll be back tomorrow with more thoughts and analysis about what went on during the Broncos versus Titans game. Make sure you subscribe. And as always, Broncos country, feels good to start off with a win. Be cool.